The U.S. Food and Drug Administration making a major announcement this week. The department will be stepping up its testing of baby formula. This after the Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., sounded the alarm of formula containing heavy metals and other potentially dangerous contaminants. NewsNation Now weekend anchor Anna Kooiman has been following this story. Anna, how long has it been since the FDA did a comprehensive review of baby formula in our country?
Yeah, well, we're learning it has been a very long time. So HHS Secretary RFK Jr., he's pushing to really protect America's next generation by boosting safety and supply of baby formula. So this is the first time since 1998 that the Food and Drug Administration has been tasked with doing this comprehensive review of American baby formulas. And it's all part of a new initiative called Operation Stork Speed. The government's review was announced just one day after Consumer Reports shared their findings with the FDA that some of the top formulas they tested had concerning levels of lead and arsenic. Now, it also comes on the heels of the shortages, of course, that shook the Biden administration back in 2022, if you'll remember, caused parents to be in a frenzy over whether they could even get the specific formulas that their infants needed. So Operation Stork Speed follows a big meeting with top CEOs of baby formula companies with RFK. And Kennedy is directing the Food and Drug Administration now to work with these industry leaders, health experts, parents, and educators as he collaborates to clean up the American food supply, he says. So Consumer Reports, they've tested 41 samples of powdered baby formulas made by 14 companies, and half of them contained toxins. We spoke with its director of food policy, Brian Ronholm, who tells us the baby formula manufacturers do some of their own testing, and the FDA does some of their own testing too. But Ronholm says the FDA should be doing even more inspections and testing, and it's one of his biggest concerns.
The potential landmine here, though, is the FDA going to be provided with adequate staffing and resources to be able to follow through with a lot of these actions that they've promised? If the agency continues to get cut, continues to lose staff, it'll really impact their ability to maintain the safety of infant formula.
So the good news from Consumer Reports, though, is that they found plenty of formula options with lower readings of these heavy metals and contaminants. And that means that although some heavy metals do occur in nature and they end up in our food supply, there are ways currently right now where folks can be sourcing raw ingredients that are at safer levels for these baby formula manufacturers.
So do your research. That is good news. I remember a few years ago, I covered those baby formula shortages. It was a huge problem. Could we see that again?
Yeah, well, exactly. That's one of the biggest concerns, isn't it? That's right. Those shortages, they peaked back in 2022, and it was largely because of recalls. We don't just need our baby formula to be safe and nutritious and free from harmful chemicals. We need it to be available and in stock and on the shelves. RFK Jr. says this Operation Stork Speed is going to be working to make sure these shortages don't happen. But I think it's also important to note, Hena, that in this Consumer Reports piece, they said that these heavy metals and contaminants are actually common in our environment, and therefore they end up in our food supply.
That doesn't make me feel better.
Yeah, it makes me want to ask some questions to the EPA as well.
All right, I know you get to the bottom of that. Your show's... Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.